Hi y'all, I'm back for day 12. Sorry I had to take a little break. Life was lifing for a couple of days there last week, but it's okay. I'll pickle a little bit of those videos so that you get the full 30-day series in other days throughout the rest of the month. But today we're talking about my portfolio. So I submitted a portfolio with my applications to my grad school programs, and this was because I wanted to highlight again another dynamic of who I am and what I could achieve in my grad school program. Some applications actually don't require a portfolio or even have an option to submit one, but for my Harvard application, there was an option to submit a portfolio. Now, I'm gonna be honest, my portfolio was nothing super stellar, and honestly, they haven't sent it back to me, so I can't show y'all what it is, but if they do send it back, I will show you eventually. However, I ended up just creating something in Adobe. I actually ended up Googling and YouTubing videos on how to make different graphics or whatever in Adobe Suite. And then I used that and created something that I submitted as part of my portfolio. It was really basic. It was kind of cute, honestly, a little cartoonish. It took me a couple hours to do, but I think if you just focus, get the software you need, and put it together, you should be fine. So QGIS is basically ArcGIS, and if you don't know what either of those are, they're basically mapping software that you can use to create maps and spatialize data. QGIS is actually a free software, so if you wanted to create some type of map, spatializing something, that would be a good product as well. I also know people who submitted something they created in ArcGIS, QGIS, in Adobe. If you're like an architect by training, some of your plans you've created, and other people who were UX UI designers showed some of their websites they created. And someone I also know submitted a video they had created. So really, your portfolio can be anything and anything. I know some people who submitted reports they had gotten published and were a really big deal for them. So really just depends on what you want to submit. Remember, there is an option to submit a writing sample. So make sure you're keeping that distinction in your head and you don't want to like double book yourself for those two things. So keep that in mind. Also, they're not expecting you to come in with a super substantiated knowledge of any software because you have to do like summer training on some of this stuff and also take courses on it throughout your entire time in grad school. So they're not expecting you to be a pro. But if you do have the skills, it's important to highlight them because that essentially means that you have a skill set that can be spread essentially to all your classmates and you can help your other classmates. Also, a lot of people had created stuff like coded it in R or Python in previous roles, so they submitted that work. And those are required courses that we have to take as part of our program, at least in my Harvard program. So if you have a skill set that you could teach to other people, that is a strong suit and it does make you stand out as a candidate. Even just being able to play around in the software and create something as like basic as I did really helps you stand out because again, it emphasizes to a reviewer, hey, I'm interested in this program, here's why, here's another element of myself that I'm showcasing to you, and please accept me. One way that you could get a bit of inspiration about what your portfolio could be in terms of a graphic design element is going on a school's social media page. So for the Harvard Graduate School of Design, there's a bunch of material that they broadcast from students who are currently at the school. That will give you kind of an idea of what they're actually interested in seeing and what like sparks their interest and they actually showcase, so that can help tailor your portfolio a bit if you're interested in producing something and showing them something that's more graphic and visual in nature. Honestly, if you don't have access to Adobe Suite, if QGIS doesn't happen to work on your laptop, I would honestly use Canva. There's a lot of great tools on Canva that you can utilize to create something graphically interesting and dynamic that you could put in your portfolio. And there's other free software as well that you could use. Freeform is one of them. I actually think collaging is an underrated graphic element that people don't use a lot. So that might be an interesting and unique way to showcase your ability to use different software and tell stories and narrative. All this to say, my portfolio unfortunately is not available, but it is an interesting element to add another layer of you as an applicant to a school you're applying to. So I would recommend you submit something, because my motto is, if it's optional, it's mandatory. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you're planning to do as part of your application and potential avenues you could use to showcase some of your specific skill sets. And I also think if you have a different skill set, for example, music, I know there's a lot of interesting intersections of music, sound, design nowadays. So if you could elevate that in some way as it relates to the program you're applying to, that would be an interesting way to showcase a skill as well. So that's it for now. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments section. If not, I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.